Here's what no English teacher will tell you. The playlist on your phone right now could be teaching you English faster than any textbook ever has. There's a single trick polyglots use with songs that turns 3 minutes of music into a full lesson, and almost nobody knows about it. Okay, so there's a woman who taught herself 9 languages, and her secret weapon wasn't flashcards, it wasn't a textbook, it was the radio.
Wait, the radio? Like actual music?
Actual music. And once you hear how she did it, you're going to look at your own playlist completely differently.
Okay, now I have to know, because I've spent way too many hours staring at Spanish verb conjugation charts, and if there was a shortcut I missed, I'm gonna be a little annoyed.
There kind of was. Let's get into it.
All right, so who is this woman?
Her name is Susanna Zaritsky. She's American, grew up speaking English, and she ended up learning a bunch of other languages over the course of her life. Spanish, French, Portuguese, Russian, Serbian, and more.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And the interesting part isn't just that she learned them, it's how. When she moved to Brazil, she didn't start with a Portuguese textbook. She started listening to the radio. Samba, pop music, whatever was playing in the taxi or the corner store.
So she's just absorbing it in the background?
At first, yeah. But then she got curious about the songs. She'd hear a phrase over and over in a chorus, and she'd ask people what it meant. And because the phrase was attached to a melody, it stuck. She wasn't memorizing it, it was just there in her head.
That actually makes sense to me. I learned the phrase no hay de qué before I ever learned it in a classroom because it was in a song I liked. I didn't even study it. It just showed up one day when somebody thanked me, and the response came out of my mouth automatically.
Exactly. And Zaritsky eventually wrote a whole book about this, called Language is Music. Her argument is that music does something textbooks can't. It gives you rhythm, pronunciation, and emotion all wrapped into one package, and you don't even have to try to remember it. The melody does the remembering for you.
Okay, but here's my skeptical side coming out. Isn't there a difference between vibing to a song in a foreign language and actually learning from it? Like, I can sing along to songs in French and have no idea what half the words mean.
That's fair, and that's actually where this gets interesting, because it's not just an anecdote. There's real research behind why this works, and it's not what most people expect.
Okay, lay it on me.
So first, there's Stephen Krashen, the linguist behind Comprehensible Input. His whole idea is that we don't acquire language by studying grammar rules consciously. We acquire it by understanding messages that are just slightly above our current level. Input that's interesting, repeated, and not overwhelming.
Right. This is the same idea behind why just listening to natural conversation, like what we're doing right now, actually helps people learn.
Exactly. And songs are basically comprehensible input with a beat. A chorus repeats the same phrase 4 or 5 times in one song. That repetition is built in. You're not forcing yourself to review a flashcard 10 times. The song is doing the spaced repetition for you, automatically, in a way that feels enjoyable instead of like a chore.
Okay, that's one piece. What else?
There's a study out of the University of Edinburgh, led by a researcher named Karen Lutke. She had adults learn short phrases in Hungarian, a language most of them had zero exposure to. One group sang the phrases. Another group just spoke them rhythmically. Another group just spoke them normally.
Let me guess. The singers won?
The singers won, by a wide margin. They remembered significantly more vocabulary than the other groups, even just a short time later. Singing wasn't just more fun, it actually produced better recall.
Why would that be, though? What's actually happening in the brain?
This is where it gets cool. There's a concept from memory researcher Alan Badley called the phonological loop. It's basically a small storage system in your working memory that holds sounds and words for a few seconds while your brain decides what to do with them. Normally, information in that loop fades fast unless you rehearse it.
Okay.
But melody and rhythm extend how long that information hangs around in the loop. A melody gives your brain a structure to hang the words on, kind of like a hook to hang a coat on instead of leaving it in a pile on the floor. That structure makes the words easier to encode into longer-term memory.
So it's not magic, it's just memory science. The song is acting like scaffolding.
Exactly. And there's one more piece that's specific to English. English is what linguists call a stress-timed language. We don't give every syllable equal weight. We stretch out the stressed syllables and compress the unstressed ones. Spanish and French are closer to syllable-timed, where syllables get more even spacing.
Oh, that explains so much of my early Spanish struggle, actually.
Right. And same for me with French. When I started learning French, I kept wanting to stress words the way I would in English, and it just sounded off. Songs are one of the best tools for fixing that, because the beat of the music literally forces you to feel where the stress falls. You can't sing along to an English pop song without naturally landing on the stressed syllables, because the melody is built around them.
So listeners get pronunciation training without even realizing they're training?
That's the whole point. It's invisible practice.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening right now and they're sold. They want to actually use music to learn English. What's the system? Because just playing music in the background clearly isn't enough, or everyone who's ever had headphones in would already be fluent.
Right. Passive listening alone has limits. You need a little bit of structure around it. Let's call this the lyric loop method. It's basically 6 steps.
I like that name. Let's go through it.
Step 1. Pick the right song. You want something with clear pronunciation, a moderate tempo, not too fast, and ideally a chorus that repeats a lot. Mumble rap with super dense wordplay is not your starting point. Pop songs, folk songs, and singer-songwriter tracks tend to work really well because the words are enunciated clearly.
What about genre? Does it matter?
Not really. It's more about clarity and repetition than genre. Country songs work great for this too. Lots of storytelling, clear diction, repeated choruses.
Okay, step 2?
Step 2. Read the lyrics once while listening. In English, no translation. You're connecting the sound to the written word. This matters because English spelling is famously inconsistent with pronunciation, so seeing the words while hearing them helps your brain map sound to spelling.
That's basically what helped me most with Spanish, honestly. Reading along while listening closed the gap between what I was hearing and what I assumed the word looked like.
Exactly. Step 3. Pick out 5 to 8 words or phrases you don't fully know. And here's the key part. Focus on phrases, not single words. Songs are full of natural chunks, things like hold on tight, give it a shot, ring a bell. Learning the whole chunk is more useful than learning isolated words, because that's how the phrase will actually come up again in real conversation.
This connects back to chunking, which is something memory researchers like Robert Bjork have talked about for years. Our brains store and retrieve language more efficiently in meaningful chunks than as individual words floating around with no context.
Exactly. And a song chorus is basically a pre-built chunk that's already been polished for you. Step 4. Shadow the song. This means singing along, not just mumbling, actually trying to match the rhythm, the stress, and the way the words blend together.
Can you explain connected speech for a second? Because I think that's a term people might not know.
Sure. In natural English, we don't pronounce every word separately and crisply the way a textbook recording does. We blend words together. Going to becomes gonna. Want to becomes wanna. What are you doing can come out sounding like what you doing. Songs are full of this kind of natural blending. So shadowing a song trains your ear and your mouth for how English actually sounds in real life, not how it sounds in a slow, robotic textbook audio clip.
That's huge, because that gap between textbook English and real English is exactly what trips people up when they finally talk to a native speaker.
Right. Step 5. Loop the chorus or the hook line specifically, not the whole song, just that one repeated part, and listen to it across several days instead of just once. This is spaced repetition again, but built into something enjoyable instead of a flashcard app.
And step 6?
Step 6. Use the phrase yourself the same day if you can. Text a friend with it. Say it out loud. Write one sentence with it. This is the step most people skip, but it's the one that moves the phrase from I recognize this to I can actually produce this. Passive recognition and active production are 2 different skills, and step 6 is what builds the second one.
I really like this because it doesn't feel like homework. It feels like something you'd do anyway if you liked a song.
That's the whole appeal. You're not adding an extra task to your day. You're just listening with slightly more intention to something you were probably going to listen to regardless.
One thing I'd add, don't pick a song you hate just because it's good for learning. If you don't like the song, you won't loop it for 5 days. You'll abandon it after one listen. Motivation matters here as much as the linguistic structure.
Great point. The method only works if you actually keep coming back to the song.
All right, let's wrap up with a quick recap of the key terms from today for anyone taking notes.
First one, comprehensible input. That's Krashen's term for language input that's understandable and slightly above your current level. It's the foundation of natural language acquisition.
Next, phonological loop. That's the part of your working memory that holds on to sounds for a few seconds. Melody and rhythm help extend how long information stays there, which makes it easier to remember.
Stress-timed language. English stretches stressed syllables and compresses unstressed ones, unlike syllable-timed languages like Spanish or French, where syllables get more even spacing.
Shadowing. That's when you listen to speech, or in this case, a song, and try to mimic it in real time, matching rhythm, stress, and pronunciation as closely as possible.
Connected speech. This is how words blend together in natural conversation. Going to becomes gonna. Want to becomes wanna. It's the difference between textbook English and real spoken English.
Chunking. Learning language in meaningful groups of words like full phrases instead of single isolated words. It's more efficient and more useful for real conversation.
And spaced repetition, reviewing something multiple times over a period of days instead of all at once, which helps move information into long-term memory.
Great recap. So if you've got a song stuck in your head right now, that's actually a good sign. Your brain already started the work for you.
Pick one song this week, run it through the lyric loop method, and let it do some of the heavy lifting. You'll be surprised how much sticks without it ever feeling like studying.
All right, that's it for today's episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.